There is something about the classics that always brings a smile to people's faces. You don't need gadgets or gizmos, you just need raw, pure performance. And there is nothing more IMSA vintage than this circuit. It doesn't get more vintage than an Audi 90 GTO, a Nissan GTP ZX-T, and Sebring International Raceway. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone watching for the penultimate round of this championship. My name is Jake Sperry. Alongside me in the commentary box for this one is Craig King. Two Somerset boys at it here together. Daniel Costello is in the director's chair. He's using the cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But when you've got Valentius up at the top, when you've got Van Hixer looking to try and put himself into play, you've got to look around and say, what will be the pitfalls they will challenge around one of the most unique circuits in all of sim racing? You'll find out that in just a few moments' time as we check in on our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Sebring International Raceway. Home to the 12 Hours of Sebring, one of the most grueling tests in endurance racing, this is a track which has earned a fearsome reputation among drivers. The circuit itself is located on the southeastern edge of the city of Sebring, Florida, and was built out of Hendricks Army Airfield shortly after World War II. 3 layouts are currently in use, ranging from 1.7 to 3.7 miles in length. The longest course, which is perhaps the most well-known with it being the one used for the famed endurance race, shockingly still contains portions of the original airfield surface. It's this aspect which has become a signature feature of the track, making it extremely bumpy for racing. Sunset Bend in particular nearly shakes cars apart while they attempt to navigate the high-speed 180-degree corner. As you'd expect for the side of an airfield, there's nearly no elevation change over the course of a lap, but many of the curves are dramatically tall and unforgiving, daring drivers to glance them yet not hit them directly. Thankfully, places to pass are plentiful, including spots like the Hairpin and Cunningham. However, the many fast, sweeping turns creates a dilemma for car setup, since a vehicle that's made too stiff could wind up bottoming out on the onerous bumps. In the end, if you have the wherewithal to withstand the track's rough nature, you're likely to fare well. And since Florida fans almost always show up in huge numbers to witness this test of car and driver, you'll have plenty to impress at this legendary North American road course.
Sebring is the sort of circuit that definitely has a little bit of everything to it. It's one of the perfect battling tracks out there. There's a reason why we jump over here every single February for 12 hours worth of racing here, Craig.
Yeah, and Jay, they say respect the bumps around here, and they mean it. It's a track filled with late apexes, high and low speed corners, and the iconic Turn 1 and Sunset. Now, those two corners will test the GTP's abilities to go without their ground force effect downforce and rely on mechanical grip, something that they're not really too used to in the Nissans. They'll need to avoid the curves around here regardless because the bumps will upset those, so smooth will be fastest out there. Now, for the GTOs, well, they don't need to worry about the bumps as much, but speed control will be crucial out there today. Fight the understeer around Sunset, Tower, Le Mans, and get ready for the car to slow down under hard braking around corners like Cunningham and the Hairpin. Multiclass around here, in theory, will be a breeze. It's a track designed for the multiclass aspect, but they need to be given, respect needs to be given. Look out for the speed differences around the twisty bends, but it's Sunset where the magic will happen, Jake. Inside, outside, wherever you want to go, just remember to be safe and respect the bumps.
Crossways, slantways, every which ways you're going to be finding yourself battling here with the machinery, and that is something we are definitely going to be keeping our focus on. Now, there are a lot of interesting pitfalls and peculiarities here going on, and the first of them starts here today with the GTP standings, because you got to look up at the very top of that. It's Aldris Valentius. Here's the kicker. He's in a GTO today, so he is not going to be scoring points compared to Dustin Heroda and Javier de Olmo, who's there in third position. Aitor Sintes Galindo finds himself fourth, tied on points with the now reigning champion in the iRacing Grand Prix Tour, Jacob Reed, who finds himself fifth. Seamus Power in 6th position ahead of Brendan Lim in 7th. Fabian Youngbluth, who has been a veteran of this series, he's 8th ahead of Ferran Grau. And then you've got Matthew Cockerham, who finds himself rounding out that top 10 overall. But we've just seen that news of the GTO. That really does throw a spanner in the works when it comes to these standings here, Craig.
Yeah, and this is important because let's throw another spanner in, Jake. Mickey Friesen is not here today. Everyone knew it. It was circled for everyone. This could be the race they could capitalize. Well, how does Johan van Hixie capitalize? If he gets a 4th place when you factor in drop weeks, because Mickey will gain 10 points today because he's not here due to drop weeks, P4, they will be tied going into the final race of the season. So keep an eye out where Van Hixie will be. Elsewhere, we've got that 4-driver battle for P3 in the championship. Lundberg, Schuster, Gundelas, and Josh Brain. Always good to see that. And we have a battle at the bottom of the top 10. Doug Cloud is just trying to hold off Ove Trengerade, Fulton Pollock, and Emilio Ticciari, who we haven't seen a lot of this season.
Yep, so there's definitely a lot that can change over the course of this season, and it's one that we are definitely going to keep our eyes on. But this being a 14-week season, so to speak, means that we are going to be in a very unique position. This is normally the final round of the championship. We've got one more coming up in 1 week's time, but these are 40 minutes on the clock. We race to time races, open setups, meaning that every driver's got a little bit of a understanding of how they've got to fine-tune the car to get the best they can out of it. There are no spare cars here. We're not like that. We don't give you a free one. You've only got one, so make the most of it. And as per every iRacing official server, drive-through penalties come through at 17 incidents and disqualification over at 25. We are currently dealing with qualifying at the moment, where they have the 8 minutes and 2 laps available to set those times. Currently, the polls for both categories are interesting. It's Noel Lundberg who's currently clear in the GTOs. In the GTPs, Ferran Grau fastest the lot on a 43.1.
Yeah, interesting to see Grau with this late season resurgence out there, Jake, doing really well out there. That looks like I know that car if I see anything there. That was Valenteus who just decided to have enough. He will not be pole position as Noah Lundberg keeps that P2. We're seeing more cars come across the line, and another one that's just taken that pole away is Andreas Schuster, who's just gone 7,000 faster than Noah Lundberg.
Yeah, so Andreas Schuster's done well, and look out for the fastest lap because Laust Olsen has just gone quickest in your GTP field. So there you can find number 19, the fastest of the lot, and smiling from ear to ear. We focus here with car number 51 at the moment. This is Vasil Faramet, who is there, the Ukrainian driver, making his progress then over to the Tower Corner. And as they run now along the greatest named straight in all of motorsport here, Craig, the Flying Fortress Straight.
It's the Flying Fortress into the Jean-Bien bend, named after the famous driver, and they come around here, use as little curb as you can, on to the bumps at Le Mans and down the Oban Straight, which I think is the second best name for a straight out here today. Look at this long run. You're going to see a lot of overtaking opportunities here, a lot of people just trying to play chicken, and then into the legendary Sunset. How does he take it? He takes it cautiously, because look at the bumps. What a camera view that is there to show you how much bumps you've got. Careful on the throttle, you will lose the rear.
We have to note that Sunset Bend is the corner of 1,004 lines. You never quite know how much to deal with. He's actually just going onto a flyer as here comes Martin Kreischerich over towards the line. Does he have anything to change up the order late? The answer to that is he'll go to 9th position, but that will do it for qualifying, and they will now start to get themselves gridded up. I'll take you through what's going on then in GTPs. GTOs will go over to the responsibility of Craig, and as things stand, it's Laus Olsen with the pole position on a 143.090. Ferran Grau will be alongside on the front row. Seamus Power might be able to make a statement here in third, with Arto Ihamaki in 4th position. It then follows Fabian Youngbluth in 5th place and Aaron Humphrey, who is there in 6th. Cal Young will start 7th, and keep an eye on Dustin Heroda, who is there in 8th place. He's got a great opportunity to gain the points here, and if he can find some points, he might be able to get closer to Aldrius Valentinus. Brendan Lim will start this one from 9th with Emerson Godin, who rounds out the top 10 of the field with the likes of Javier Del Olmo and Diego Mastretta, 11th and 12th. Aitor Sintes Galindo will have to go from 13th position on the grid alongside Alan Berteau in 14th. Then it's Jorge Fernandez in 15th and Jacob Jones in 16th position. Juan E. Rodriguez will start from 17th alongside Matthew Cockerham, who is there in 18th. It is then Richard Stiles and Stefan Leslie who make up the top 20 of this field. We're expecting some high numbers here from drivers. It's just the one split here today, and most of the lower split drivers or the low end of the drivers have gone into this field. So Daniel Soleo and Juan Gonzalez are there in row 11 with Henning Schweibig there in 23rd and Gaspar Alzura in 24th position. Nako Simmons will start 25th alongside Kelton Armstrong, row 14, housing Mateo Johnson as the last driver to set a time, which means by iRacing, Carlos Fonseca, Lance Simon, Victor Rodriguez are there on row 15, and the final row will have Vasil Faramets, who we saw earlier, and Taylor Daniels in the number 55 car will be 32nd. GTO here with Craig King.
Yep. Noah Lundberg will be leading us off, as we talked about, with Andreas Schuster in P2, and Johan van Hixie gets third. Andreas Salumba will be fourth, and Valenteus, Mr. Former 9K, in fifth. Doug Cloud will be sixth beside him with Josh Brain in seventh. Then Arturas Kundalis will be eighth. Martin Krajcik will be ninth, and Sam Skogard will round out the first page in 10th. Jumping in, though, with Ben Laughter in 11th, Emilio Dicciari will take 12th. Then it will be Jack Wells in 13th. Forban Pollock will take 14th. Mark Gamak down in 15th with Dejan Cameron in 16th. Followed by Tyler Roberts in 17th and Kurt Hauhensen in 18th. Nathan Rivers will be 19th with Marcus Bayon in 20th. And we do have three more. Did not set a time. Did say Emir Mika Tupala or Tom Smith. Well, that's your 23 GTOs. You gave us 32 GTPs. This is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun, and we are going to be seeing here how important it will be when these drivers start to get themselves into racing action with this one full pace lap. There are your air and track temperatures up on screen, both units of measurement. Of course, we got it in metric and in Freedom Eagle for you so that you've got an understanding of what's going on. 81 Fahrenheit, 93 track temperature at the moment, 34 degrees, and definitely worth keeping an eye out. Now, I've just noticed that Laust Olsen from the front of the field here has gone and pulled the car down into the pits. I think he might have had a technical issue of some kind, which means that Ferran Grau is now going to take the field as the race start in GTP.
If it doesn't rain, it pours for Laust Olsen. That's got to feel bad. You think how close that top six was, Jake? You look at it. Everybody from first down to eighth in qualifying was less than a 10th in qualifying. That's how close it was. It's bad enough to try and go through the field, but to get to that top six is going to be so treacherous. That is going to be a pain there for Laust.
It will be. I wonder if potentially... Oh, yes, we're just getting word. He forgot to put his race setup on. He was going around in his quali set.
That's not what you want to see. We've all done it. We've all done it. Put your hands up, everyone in the chat. Put your hands up, everyone in the sim. We have all done that, Jake, and we all know what that punishment is. That slow wait in the pit lane. And being to the full formation lap, that's a long wait in the pit lane.
It is a horrible wait, and one which you look around and say, I don't really want to be doing that, as we see the Red Lobster finding its progress through. There will be questions, though, of course, on where you finish if you're Joran van Heek 6 machine, because you got to remember as well here, Craig, very quickly, top 4 is probably what he's aiming for here today, and probably one of the most stacked fields we've seen in this category.
Yeah, I think he has to kind of cross out a victory today just because you got Vanteus out there, even in fifth. Anything can happen, though. We have seen it over the last few weeks. Really is the game for these guys is work together and survive until the final 5 minutes, because the traffic could be very chaotic today.
It certainly could. Ferran Grau will have control of the field with Seamus Power alongside him for company. Keep an eye on the 7 of Dustin Herrera here today. He could be someone who could really profiteer with drivers making all of this progress. These GTPs are certainly not for the faint of heart, and they're not for the faint of mind. With 2 rounds to go in the championship, we've got a green flag, and we are racing. Seamus Power with a monster launch off of the start, completely picks the pocket of Ferran Grau, takes the race lead. They fan 3, sometimes even 4 wide, and they'll have to shrink it down as they go through. 1 spin already, Javier Del Olmo.
They're almost gone around GTOs. They've managed to keep it clean. They host 1 by 1 in a single line. Lumber got a really good start here, and we see a little bit of just tapping the wall there. No one getting any serious damage. They're all making it through Sunset clean. They're all making it through clean. One driver just going a little bit wide. Mark Gamak right behind him is Laus Olsen.
Yeah, and Laus has now got to go through the entirety of the GTO field to reach the GTP field and pick up places as and when he can. Not ideal in the circumstances. He's given himself about a half a minute disadvantage to start this race, and that will soon turn into a full minute if he's not too careful. Driving along then up through the middle of this section. This is Victor Rodriguez down there in 29th position in the number 50 car, who is now trying to bring himself into play with the likes of Del Olmo in front of him. It is very much a case of find yourself a little bit of safety blanket out there, because as far as the front goes, it's the top 5 who are clear, and then it's a gap to Cal Young. Replay brought to you by GSRC.
Yeah, this is Del Olmo. Did he go a bit too close to the inside? Yeah, he's lost it. He's trying to fight it, and I'm surprised he didn't get tapped on the way out there. He just went too close to the inside, lost that rear, especially on the cold tires. Even with a full formation lap, you're going to struggle out there. Ferran Grau's not struggling out there at the moment, really keeping it up there with Seamus Power. Seamus +2 already today, and thankfully this new version of Sebring we had last year, we don't have that grass anymore, Jake. That is so flat out there on the exit of Sunset.
You can be a lot more committed, and Aaron Humphrey is one of those drivers looking to be committed. It's 5v25 down the inside, and he'll get the pass on Emerson Godin there, and he will comfortably get that sorted. Now heading up into turns 3, 4 and 5, and here is Nako Simmons, who's got the damage to the rear wing, it looks like already, so he's been in the wars on the opening lap. He's now looking to try and get through as well. Juan Gonzalez making his pass.
Yeah, other drivers making some moves as well. I think Henning Schweib just got a loss of position to Daniel Cielo as well, but Gonzalez, if he's got damage, he's going to be struggling down this long straight, and you just start to see getting a little bit picked up there. Javier Del Olmo, you can see the orange car just still trying to make up positions after that bad start. There is one car off there. I did not catch who that was. I believe that was one Rodriguez. He goes around as well.
Yeah, not good down there at the hotel hairpin, and certainly it's going to be a case of check your stay. Jack Wells finding himself around. Oh, Arturas Candelis is around then. Not a driver you'd expect to see spun at turn 3 out on track, but the number 3 machine has found himself wrong place, wrong time, and out, because when he had himself that spin, he blew the engine as he hit the barriers.
Yeah, wouldn't think that much of a speed would actually cause an engine damage, but it was a little tap there, trying to take it too wide, trying to send it in, was unable to, and unfortunately, Kundelis' race and the championship chances are gone. But on the 007 camera, Laus Olsen right now, just look at it. He's got through finally. He's lost a bit of time. He's only 7 seconds behind Taylor Daniels in 31st. That's not too bad, Jake.
Oh.
But we've got even more carnage out there as well. Azura has gone off as well. Looks like I think he's got a bit too wide out Le Mans.
Well, they say be who you want to be, Barbie Girl, but I don't want to be out of this race, and that very much looks like the case for Gaspar Alzura then, as he finds the barriers on the Ullman Straight. So coming out of the corner, loses it once, and oh, this is going to be a hefty hit. Yep, takes the turn around, and that pretty much does that for the Barbie car.
That is all she wrote, and then some. Still trying to get the car back in, but it's going to be a very long run out there. Now we're looking at more GTPs, with 32 GTPs out there. Why not? Henning Sweep trying to keep on fighting. This is the best part of the track to make overtakes, though, when you just get this opportunity in the flat section, but it's so tough elsewhere. They've probably got 2 more laps before they hit the traffic.
got to look at GTO as well. This is what happened to Martin Krejcik, who has been around for forever and a day. He just runs straight up the back of the car in front, and he almost starts trying to recreate that old Sebring video where you go through the gates and start driving around Florida itself.
Yeah, I mean, I love that video. Daniel Salo, though, he is loving this fight. He's losing control. He's got quite a bit of damage on the rear of that car, and you can just see he's really struggling to get that throttle going. Got on the throttle, lost a bit of the move there, but this is Ben Laughter really making some moves already today. Up one place, trying to get past Forbin Pollock. He's got Mark Gamek right behind. I don't think he's got the overlap. Great view from Gamek. Gonna just try and make it around that out inside of the hairpin. Very tough. They do make it work, and a great overtake there for Laughter.
Yeah, a good pass on Paulik, and he gets it for position. He'll look in front of him. Emilio Dicciari is next, and after that, it's Sam Skogo, who is there in front in the pink machine there, the number 33. So keep an eye on that with Mark Gamak in the middle. But also, look at the front of this GTO field. Noel Lundberg does have the lead, yes, but look at what's behind. You got Joram van Hicks, who's there in second position, exactly where he wants to be. Aldrius Valentias in the most cluttered livery of all time in third position. Then Andreas Schuster, Andreas Salumba is there as well, and Doug Cloud, who had the contact with Kundelis.
If you're not used to IMSA Vintage, this is classic IMSA Vintage, because the lead GTOs have decided there's no point fighting. We're going to let Aldrius do what he wants to do, and we're just going to stay together. And if you think this is impressive, his car, he loves standing out. Just look at his GTP, but today, it's the sticker bomb, and he's really making it work out there. Look at the control he's got over the bumps, knows exactly where to put that car to avoid the worst bit of damage. Can he get the toe onto Van Hicksy? I don't think it's going to happen this time, because Noah Lundberg is giving him a toe.
Joram van Hicks just about holding his station. This is Kelton Armstrong, who's been caught up. Club California, Repsol livery. Oh, he's going to absolutely eat tyre wall there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for about the next 3 weeks, and he'll catch someone with a tyre as he went.
Thank God we don't have damage with the tyres at the moment, because that would have caused another car to have damage. And Ben Laughter, well, he's laughing at his situation right now. He's having fun. He's got Dicciari right in front of him in that green car, but he's misshifted, and he's had a little bit of a rear-end tap there from Forbin Paulik. Nothing Forbin could have done. Ben straight away apologising. This is a good run, though. Look at Jack Wells in the gold and purple livery. He's going to take advantage of this mistake. He may get free on the straight. He is going to get free on the straight.
Wow, great move by Jack Wells, and Ben Laughter holding on. He said that he lost the throttle on the straight, which is something you don't often get to hear. So Ben Laughter finding himself right in the middle of it. He is completely in the thick of it, and he's not done yet, because he'll dive up the inside looking for two. He'll get one.
Got one. He was looking for that buy one, get one free. It was not on the offer for that item today. And he's just going to keep looking. And while that's happening, Valentias, he is trying to find a way around Johan Van Hicks. Is he going to try and find his opportunity out of Le Mans and down the Ullman Straight? You bet your bottom dollar he's going to have a go at this. He gets a really good run. And now the question is that double toe going to help him? And can Lundberg just keep everyone ahead?
Well, that is going to be a case of where you go for it. Aldrius Valentias is hoping that he can find some moves, and he's just looking at this from the element of victory right now. Ferran Grau is now shadowing the back of Seamus Power, and they've got themselves about 3 seconds here over 2.5, over Fabian Youngblood. What a start by Dustin Herrera, who has been there out and doing well. He's got himself from 8th all the way up to P4. This is perfect for his championship hopes at the moment. Grau closing, looking to the inside, but you can see that wide line being taken as they scramble over the bumps. Grau not quite in a position yet to attack Seamus Power.
And I bet if they were looking at the relative, they'd see the blue on the relative, and that is the GTOs. Here they go. He's going to try. I think he's got a bit too hard. He's got it around the outside. Are you kidding me, Ferran Grau? What an overtake.
Seamus Power just boxed himself into a corner. It's a wonderful overtake, a lovely piece of foresight by Ferran Grau, but it's just Seamus Power being a little bit naive, thinking he can just take the racing line, and Grau now starts to run away. Aaron Humphrey in the middle of this. Welcome to the lap cycle.
Yeah, and this is why this is called IMSA Vintage. This is why you get some fantastic racing. They are going to hit the traffic here at the hairpin, and then they're just going to have to wait for opportunity. Misplaced from drivers being a little bit too cautious, like we saw with Seamus Power. And Aaron has a run here on Cal Young. He's going to try, but Young makes a really good defense. Now, can he go overcook it? He doesn't. There are GTOs ahead of them. There are GTP trying to get past the GTOs. You're just looking for a right space on the road. This is almost like it's the M25 on a Monday morning, Jake.
Well, it's the M4 and it's the M32 and it's everything else in between from our neck of the woods. But for the moment, Humphrey happy with where he is. Cal Young forcing almost off the road Nathan Rivers, who finds himself then looking almost towards the Three Rivers in Pittsburgh rather than where he is right now in the panhandle of Florida. He'd be very scared of that, but they are keeping their form at the moment. But Aitor Sintes Galindo is one of those who's trying to go through, because you've got Brendan Lim, and at the moment, as they go past the likes of Netsch and Cameron, Emerson Godin is the one who's going to have to defend, and we might be heading 3 wide to Sunset. Oh, what a block! What a big block off the road! Side by sides they go through, now around the lap traffic both ways. Keep your eyes open, keep your eyes peeled. Wow!
What is happening out there as drivers are taking the risks they need to take early doors, but they understand what is at stake here today. It's a big finish usually for the season on week 12. We've got 13 weeks. We've got one more week. Don't crash the car yet, lads, because you've still got another week of traffic out there to deal with. But what an opportunity to make moves, and you've got to feel we almost had a 4 wide there as I just saw Jack Wells off into the grass and Mark Gamak as well.
And we've had a change for the race lead, because Noel Lundberg has lost out into turn 1 to Joram van Hicks, who leads this race outright in the number 6 machine. Lundberg second. Valentius now fighting for third, because here comes Andreas Liumba looking for that move in the number 9 car, and not yet able to find it, confirming it out to Collier corner and in here at the Bishops. But at the moment, you need a rook. He can't quite under-promote to move up into P4 like it's Dingley Wren versus Gukesh in the World Championship today. Still can't find it on the Flying Fortress straight.
Can't find it. He has to give it up at Jean-Bien, and he has realised that that could be all she wrote. That was his best chance to make any sort of overtake. He can't get it stuck now. Now the question is, does he stay here? Do they work together to get back up? Because 1 second behind them, there is the lead GTPs. And Ferengrau is still trying to hold on here. I don't think there'll be Seamus Power trying to make a move, but can Grau put a couple GTOs ahead of him? You bet he can, but Seamus follows.
Yeah, he does. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. Gets the clearance off of the exit. Right up to the tyres goes Seamus Power. And there is more out there. I've just seen a car find its way down in onto the pit lane by virtue of tow. And it's Tom Smith who finds himself in trouble there through the opening corner, though. But there has been a change once again, because Joram van Hicks loses out once more to Noel Lundberg, trying to dive for the inside. Can't quite get there. Lundberg back in control. Youngbluth now trying to make his way through the group.
Yeah, Youngbluth will wait for this and will get going when he can. He's only got Cal Young a second and a half behind him, so no panics there for him. But Van Hicksy, you got to feel that he needs to just stay the course right now. A P2 will still be great, but you're out there to race. You want the victory, and you can see how much this means. If he can get the victory, another win this today might just set him up for the championship next week.
It will do, and so too just Dustin Herroder. I will task you here, of course, to work out the points as they all look to go through in what's going on in GTP. I think Aldris has a little bit of safety in that regard with the way he's driven, but right now this has been, I would say, one of the toughest starts to a race that we've seen in a very long time in this series. We do expect it to be fraught, we do expect it to be frantic, but right now everyone's just trying to hold on to what they can. This is a whirling dervish of a race so far.
I love that. I would have said a howitzer. Juan Gonzalez, he goes a little bit wide at the hairpin himself, and this is Brendan Lim now looking to try and get a move on Sintes Galindo. He's got Mastera right behind him, and maybe a little move here as Emerson Gordon just getting held up here. We are going to go 3 wide as Aitor Sintes Galindo tries to hold on. Lim is going to follow in. Now watch this line. Which line do they take? They'll get a clean line into the start of Sunset, but they're going to have to try by different lines. And Sintes Galindo can't get out. They go around.
1, 2, 3, caught up in it. Flicking away through the middle goes another. And the silk cut style car in trouble. Godin still waiting to try and get going once again, and you take a look at him and he's looking left, right, left, right, left, right. I don't really want to be here, and he just somehow gets the rejoin that he wants, and he's got that look of, really? Did that just happen?
I hate to say it, it did happen, and you would be interested to see exactly what happened. I think drivers were both just trying to find that outside line on the GTOs, and really there was only one line. We know there's 1,000,001 lines there, 1,001 end of a line there, but they're just everyone trying to take the same line at the same time there.
Well, Seamus Power has not given up his hopes of a race lead. These two have pulled away from Fabian Youngblood through the traffic. The gap 0.2 of a second, and I think these two are looking around at what's going to happen once minute 40 elapses here in this race. Seamus happy with where he is, but Ferran Grau will be the one who is trying to run away with as much pace and prowess as he possibly can get his hands on at this stage. Dancing through now at Le Mans corner and onto the Ullman straight here, and taking that almighty charge as they head themselves over towards Sunset Bend. No DRS for these pieces of machinery. No, not like that. But here comes the move to the inside. Seamus Power looking to try and channel his inner overtake right now, but the outside line works. But look at the drive off the exit. He almost fed him the wall. Wow.
Brilliant. Brilliant. He actually managed to find the right bumps there. It worked for him, but they're still fighting. The overlap is still there, and a great fight back there from Grau to keep that lead. These two will keep battling. They got 5 seconds until the next car's behind them, so this is good. Here's some interesting information if we go to the replay. Grau has not won this season.
Well, he'll want one. He'll desperately want one. This is what happened with Godin side by side, and he tried to thread a very, very tight needle as he had to abandon his main line because of how slow the Audi was there through the middle of the corner. That causes the contact between the two. Nowhere to go. The third bit of contact goes by in, and Emerson Godin there finds himself caught out. Grau in trouble, and Seamus Power off the exit of turn 7, heading through into Fangio, snipes the race lead away.
The Fangio chicane is not a place you usually make a mistake. He got on the curve. What did I say at the start of the race? Avoid the curves in these cars. You'll lose the traction with the bumps. And that exactly happened to Grau there. And now Seamus Power, runner-up last season for the championship. He may have a chance to try and take it. Here's the current leader for the GTPs in a GTO. Just avoid getting taken out from behind. Vanteas, he is still trying to find that P1.
Well, he's got to get through P2 first and foremost, which is, of course, Joram van Hicks, who finds himself there in that second position, and he's trying to stay in range of the likes of Noel Lundberg, who leads this race outright at the moment. Godin now will be making his way through. They have completely chopped up this traffic here for the GTOs at this stage. Everyone is stuck at a little bit of a gap back here. The likes of Carlos Fonseca making his way through, Daniel Soleo, Henning Schwebig is another one who's looking to try and get himself through, but at least at the moment, Joram van Hicks, I think, is doing everything he needs to with the lack of a one. Mickey Friesen here today, I think's given him license to go attack.
Yeah, it's given him the license, but they have to remember the anomaly, the number 1 car. And a little stat for you, Jake, if you've not been aware of it, he has competed in both series this season, in both cars, and only one race he has not won. And that is just the nature of Vanteas. But here's Doug Cloud. The nature of Doug Cloud is to defend as hard as he can. But today he's going to be attacking. And in the inside of Sunset, he goes for Shootster, holds it down. I think he's got a bit too slow, though.
Yeah, Andreas Sliumba has had contact there going out of the Ullman corner. That's why they picked up these positions, and they're racing now for 4th place in class. Doug Cloud looking now to try and get his run forward, as there goes the dive from Schuster straight on back in the number 8, and he wasn't going to take no for an answer. He finds that pass, and he finds exactly what he was hoping for with that pass as well. So some happy stuff there as the top 3 clear. Lundberg leading, Von Hicks leading Valentias at the moment, and Valentias trying to get what is the mock-up Audi Quattro of 82 there. The rally pedigree here on Audi 90. But you can mix and match in terms of the livery. You are going to get half a chance to get the drive off the exit. And I tell you what, this Audi 90 drives like nearly nothing else on the service.
Well, no, because it's the only car that, if I recall right, is the only 4-wheel drive car, not all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. They're all going at the same time, so look at them wrestle them through the corners, and Valentias is doing his best to just catch up. He gets the overspeed in these blocks. He just can't use that overspeed to make a move. It's so hard to do late lunges in this car, and you just see that he is playing his cards right, and this is the stamp of a really good driver, understanding where you can make those moves instead of when you make those moves. He's just holding on. We're only at halfway of the race, and the craziest thing is these lead GTPOs haven't hit all the GTP traffic. The lead GTPs are going around the second time.
Well, the issue for Andreas Valentias, if he plays his cards right, is he won't get two for a pair of overtakes, not in this game. He'll be hoping that in any way, shape or form, that Andreas Valentias can pick them off one at a time. It starts with Joran van Hicks. If he can find a way, a Sunset Bend, abandoned stage left, he'll go driving through the cones, and he very nearly found himself with a bit of drama there, and Doug Cloud is out of the race in a very dramatic fashion because he's just been run over.
Well, run over is one word for it. He's been absolutely taken out. We'll look at that later on because Valentias trying now just to make sure he gets away from Lars Olsen. Hey, that's the point. Lars Olsen's now up to 20th. Remember, he started in the pits. He's already 12 places up from where he is. But this is the battle we got to keep our eyes on because it's come back to a three-car battle all of a sudden.
It has done, and it continues to be this close fought affair between the top three. Lundberg has definitely given himself the gap that he's been hoping for. Still, there's a bit of traffic trying to make its way through. Nico Simmons is the one who's trying to deal with that. Very nearly clipping the wall as there's Cal Young in fourth position, who's done very well over the last few laps to chase down Fabian Youngblood here for that position. And now you start to look at this podium battle here, and Fabian in the number 10 looks at Cal in the 4, and Cal, I think, here is hoping that he can find a way through, and any pick that he can find is going to help, not Mika Tupala at this point, because look at how that gap opens up, and suddenly it might bring Dustin Herrera back into play, who's in 5th.
Yeah, but traffic giveth, traffic taketh away. And we'll look at a GSRC replay of Doug Cloud here. He believe he's coming around. I believe this is, coming up to John Bien. He's at the Flying Fortress. He gets the GTP go by him. Here comes the second GTP, and too much speed, nowhere to go. And I just want to point out, Valentias earlier in the race, he realized he had too much speed. He went on straight. He didn't try to use another car as a bumper. Not saying that GTP did it, but sometimes you've got to understand when to turn out.
Yes, you've got to have that ability of where are my exit options, as Alain Breteau looks for a top 10 here as he now scrambles around with Diego Mastretta here, who is up 3 spaces in the number 27 car. In terms of iRacing gains out here in this race, Diego Mastretta and Jorge Fernandez are going to be smiling, but here comes Breteau at Cunningham Corner, feeds him a door.
Yeah, there says fat on that car, but I don't think Breteau try to make the car that fat or that wide out there today, to use the politically correct term, but he does get in the move done, a little bit of a tap, gets it stuck, and you can feel that he wanted to do this. We'll go back to the lead battle though, because Grau's managed to retake the lead. Does he get a good exit here? You've got to get the good exit, because if you go too wide, this happens, because Seamus is right side by side with him.
Well, there's going to be more than a bit of white noise here for Seamus Power as he now has to go around the outside. They got 3 pieces of traffic as they go through. Now where do you go? Because now they've got to try and work out where they're going to go either side. The box in. Farron Grau takes the lead with some genius driving.
Genius driving, call it genius, call it brave, call it whatever you want to call it. And for the second time this race, Power has been caught napping at turn 1 because of traffic to Farron Grau, and a brilliant move there, but traffic is still going, racing is still going. And this is Bayon in 10th position. He's trying to get by. He's locked up the car. They've locked up the car. Jensen's locked up the car. Everyone's locked up the car.
Well, Seamus Power, take a look at his rear wing as he went through that section, because he's got damage now to the back of his car.
He has indeed. It was a light tap. I think it was a light tap there from Jensen. And unfortunately, that could be a big moment when we come to the straights. This could actually bring people into the race. Like Haroda, you've got to think about it right now, as Humphrey manages to find a way through to get an overtake there before Tower. and now he's able to just pull by. Cal Young sees this behind him. He's loving it because he can go full focus on Fabian Youngblood for this P3, but Haroda is still fighting battles on battles as they go through the GTOs again.
Well, they want every place they can, and the only way they can do so is sometimes by using the traffic to their advantage. But the longer that a race like this goes on, the lesser that you're going to see of it. This is a rather large circuit, so we expect traffic to be hit a little less often than what we sometimes see in this series. Cal Young's number 4, just holding back a little bit through Sunset. And where do you want to go? And where was he going there? There's troubles through for Tom Smith, who's just pootling about the circuit here, trying to stay out of the way, and very nearly finding all sorts of drama going through that section, nearly getting run over. My goodness me.
Well, yeah, everyone survives it. It was another chicane they had to go through. Haroda still trying to keep an eye on here. I want to say, Jake, we've got to keep our eyes as we look at Javier Del Olmo. Look at that timing tower with Seamus Power losing time to Ferran Grau. Del Olmo is going to have a little move around the outside of Mastretta. No, Mastretta takes that position away. As I was saying, though, Jake, look at that time. Power is losing a lot of time to Ferran Grau out there. Do not be surprised if we start talking about Fabian Youngblood trying to go for P3.
Yeah, he is certainly doing a very good job of closing down, and I think that there is trouble for Seamus Power in this race, and he'll have to hold. But still, the ever-increasing pressure on Joram van Hicks in second position, knowing that you've got Aldrius Valentias, who sits there as your race leader, as a championship leader in a different category, as the number 1 driver in this field by iRacing. Looking at Noel Lundberg, who is there in front, when you've got the number 1 and number 2 drivers in this field, front and rear, you know you're in a select category, and Joram van Hicks is thinking, I don't just want to be in a select category, I want to be a championship leader, and that's what he's aiming at here with him being in second.
Oh, I gotta give some more information here. Do I see a black flag for slowdown for Seamus Power? It's going bad to worse for him, but it's not going bad for worse for Valentias. He is still happy where he is at the moment. He's just waiting to go off the wall to see what he can do around here, but he's not able to find it. Look how close he goes, though. He's gonna get the lead GTP come by him shortly, but it's going to be very interesting to see what time does he start to go for this, because you've got to feel he's holding back with 13 minutes left.
Well, how much is he holding back? How much is he going to be in a position where he goes to attack, and where does he uncork it? Valentias is someone who we normally see run away in these sorts of races to jump out to the front, but as he lifts very early on the brakes here compared to Joram van Hicks, he will look around and think, you know what? I think I need to be right place, right time. And at the moment, he's wrong place, wrong time. They're in third position. That's the leader behind them, Ferran Grau, who's walked out to a 5-second lead, because all of a sudden, it's now getting very busy. Second, third, and fourth as they now start to dive on through. 2 cleared, then by the overall leader, Van Hicks, still having to hold the middle of the road and still having to think about every which corner to find himself stuck inside Schrodinger's overtake as it's on for 5th place still. Now 4th, 5th and 6th. It's a 5-car train for 2 spots on the podium.
And everybody wants this spot on the podium. They know that Power is a wounded animal out there. They're going to get that definitely. But Young getting past Youngblood earlier on. We're looking at Humphrey trying to get past Youngblood. Heroda's right behind as well. They got some GTO traffic in front of them. It's the lead GTO battles. This is going to be touch and go. But if they get past ahead, Cal Young gets past Seamus Power. That's an easy overtake, but they will take it 3 wide. What's going to happen here is Youngblood goes very deep, he's lost control, he did Van Hicks!
It's a huge accident behind, and that's Fabian Youngblood there in the Minolta Toyota style, a Nissan there, getting the contact in with Aaron Humphrey. He went aggressive down low, he hits Joram van Hicks, but Van Hicks only took side-on contact. Lundberg able to break away to the tune now of 8/10, almost a second, but Joram van Hicks getting away with one. Youngblood with a huge moment.
Let's look at this again. Van Hicks may just hold on to it. Bayon having a bit of a moment here. As you can just see, loses the car, tries to get back. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to Tony Hawk it straight there. And that's a heavy hit into the barrier. I just want to point out, earlier this week in hot split races for Van Hicks, he had a very light tap that removed his bonnet. Thankfully, that has saved him out there today.
Yeah, he hasn't found himself in there, and Alain Breteau is looking for an 8th place now, as he thinks that Jorge Fernandez is going to be next up on the list, and he'll have a grin from ear to ear as he tries to get that move. Not quite there at the moment, but the Turbo Express is not quite into play at this stage, and he'll have to wait for it to spool to get going. Now, this GSRC replay is the big one. Fabian Youngblood knows he's got to commit. It's either I follow there with the Spurwing car, or I go to the inside. Goes to the inside, realises he's going to run out of road, and he jammed so hard on the brakes to try and avoid any huge contact.
I'm amazed that was just a 2-car crash. That could have been dangerous, and you got to remember that yes, he goes for the move. That is a move that not even a modern day prototype can do because of the bumps. You could take so much speed in there, but at some point, speed, grip goes away, and now is this the chance for an overtake finally for Van Tyres? He gets it, and you know what? Van Hicks decides, I'm not even going to fight this. I'll fight you later on. He'll be happy with a P3. You know he wants that P2 though.
Von Hicks knows that 3rd will still be good enough to take a championship lead coming out of here today, but what he will also be looking at here with Valentius and Lundberg is, can I use Algius Valentius in the final quarter of this race to close that gap up to Noel Lundberg? Look at the way that gap opens up already, 3/4 tenths of a second. That gap by Algius is being eaten into hand over fist, and Noel Lundberg will realise, hang on a minute, I've got car number 1 behind me. He's the only driver better than me on an ELO rating, and there is the fear of God that Algius Valentius puts into every Classics driver the world over 10 times.
If he wanted to, he could win the Triple Crown in the weekend. He could even win a Grand Slam if the GT1s were still going around out there today. Well, that is the pace of Antaius. And now Lundberg has had many battles with him, but the battles have come and gone. Only one man has been able to fight Valentius this season, and it wasn't even in a GTO. It's in these GTPs. It's Breteau is still battling on against Fernandez Suarez up ahead. They're just waiting, and you see these leaders again. And after last time, it always worries me seeing Van Hicks with some GTPs around him.
Yeah, you're always going to have that small little flinch that says, I don't really want to be dealing with too much. Oh my goodness me, as we got side by side on now for the podium. Alain Breteau nearly took Noel Lundberg directly out this race. Humphrey to the outside now is going to try and get himself a way through. He will master it on Seamus Power. The podium goes flying away from him.
Oh, the podium's gone away from him just at that moment. He lost it from a GTO. GTO snatched it from him, and now he's going to have to keep on going. Here's a battle we didn't think we'd talk about. Laus Olsen out there in the Scandinavian-inspired, Swedish-inspired colours out there today as he's battling for 18th against Henning Sweeb. Now remember, he had to start from the pit after leading the race and starting on pole, and he's actually not done a bad job to get all the way up to 19th from 32nd.
Well, you've got to consider he wasn't 32nd in this race. He actually started 55th in this race because he was behind the GTOs as well. There is Dustin Heroda, who is looking around. You can see the trophies there on the right-hand side of him, and he will know as he goes into a right-hander that he's got 4th position, which isn't going to be a trophy here today, but a chance to get some all-important points.
But they always say 4th place is the worst place to be on an Olympic field, on a racing field. You don't get on that podium, you're the first person to miss the podium. But right now, you've got to feel +4 for the day. Really good drive from Heroda out there today. He's had some battles. He's had to pull away from cars. He's had to lose some position, but he's really stayed up there today.
Look out for the race lead. Algius is going for the race lead here over at Cunningham Corner, and now they're going to fight their way through Collier over, of course, now towards the Bishop's Corner. And Algius Valentius, he wasn't going to sit, he wasn't going to wait, he wasn't going to say how do you do. He is smash mouth sim racing. He takes what he wants.
I believe that's what they call check, and it may be mate with 6 minutes to go in the race. He's going to have to hold on to the bumper. Can we go? The rear wing, can we go? This could be Lundberg trying to set himself up for a move out of Le Mans Corner down the Ullman Straight. He's not carried the speed like Valentius has, and he's going to get a tow as well from this one driver coming up that Faramet as well. I don't think Lundberg's got anything to go. And now if I'm Noah Lundberg, I start to worry about Johan van Hicks.
And there's been troubles for Aaron Humphrey out there apparently. So has there been something huge to keep in mind out there at this stage? So we'll take a look here around when we get the chance to, because Valentius is looking for clearance and he's hoping for that clearance here and now against Noel Lundberg as they head into the opening corner. There's going to be no dice then as they start dancing their way on through. Nothing there. Valentius, your leader. Second position is Noel Lundberg.
Yep, and even still Van Hicks is happy where he is at the moment. We're not seeing him around anywhere, but that's a good thing as Valentius continues to just pull ahead, and the GTPs are in their own little battle here trying to get by him, and that is actually not helping Lundberg, because now all of a sudden there is a gap between him and Valentius while these three keep battling. That is Styles and Cocker trying to go.
He nearly took the back out of one of the GTPs there. It would have been Jacob Jones that he nearly ran up inside, and suddenly Noel Lundberg senses the desperation of this situation and looks around and says, how on earth am I still in touching distance of this one? And same can be said for Joran van Hicks, who finds himself in third. Meanwhile, here we go, Alan Berteau. Where do you want to find the move on Jorge Fernandez? Answer is Sunset Bend. Sunset Bend? No, I'm going to defend it at Sunset Bend. Outside of Sunset Bend? Yeah, that might be the place. Oh, there's contact. And he's going to go sliding across the circuit. What a rip.
What a save! I thought he had that under control. He went for more bumps, and I think the bumps actually saved him. It should flip the car. It didn't. He kept that alive. He lost the position to Del Olmo, but you could say I'm still standing. I've still got a top 10, and I feel better than I ever did.
Well, that is a save and a half from Alain Berteau, and is one that goes in the pantheon of fantastic saves. Matteo Johnson now hoping that he can get a move done. This would be on Matthew Cochrane for position. Richard Styles just in front of them. They were struggling just a little bit earlier on to get the leaders, and into the wall. Matteo Johnson clips the inside.
Clip the inside. I wonder how heavy that was of a clip of the inside. We'll have to look later on because Lundberg is still trying to go. What's interesting, this is lap 19. They may have to do 21 laps out here today, these GTOs. It may be 20. Just depends where they meet the final traffic. So this could be all or nothing with 3 minutes and change left to go. You've got to feel that he's got a chance.
Well, let's take a look here at the replay, and this is what happened with Alain Berteau, trying to go around the outside. Just there's a bit of squeeze. He takes the contact, and it's effortless here, just holding the limit of grip again and again and again and again, and then he waits for the power to come back, and he saves it. Simply wonderful, but it's going to be a thinking game when it comes to the GTO race lead as we focus on Javier Del Olmo in ninth position, because you know what GTO stands for when it comes to this field in the GTO field, Craig? It stands for Game Theory Optimal. Who is the most optimal?
Well, we'll wait and see. Del Olmo's a former champion in both series, and I think he's just got that with no problem. Just the experience of where those GTOs are going to go just allows the GTP driver Del Olmo to get through, and that's a nice P9 there for Del Olmo. Been a quiet day for him. The current defending champion is only +3 for the day. He will be able to hold on, but right behind, I still see Berteau. Yeah, I think he wants another round with Suarez. Going to be interesting.
Well, what will be interesting is how close Ferran Grau gets, because it's just gone past Sam Skogo, who is there in 6th position, which is about half a minute off of this group. So if he's got enough pace, and we're talking 15 seconds a lap, he's probably not going to get close enough to lap the top 3 out there, which means they might just have to race one lap all on their own to focus. Jorge Fernandez still not giving this one up then, as he'll chase through Fangio over towards Cunningham Corner, and he's hoping, he's looking once, twice, 3 times. Not quite a lady though to get that move. He's going to have to sit and wait.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and see if he's got the ability to just get some pace coming out of these corners and down to the Flying Fortress straight very shortly. But Del Olmo is a tough nut to crack, and it is Christmas time, but there's no nutcracker out here at the moment. Suarez is just going to have to hope for this to go. It's officially white flag according to the sim. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. Well, that's a little bit of a bully for Suarez. He is really wanting this position.
He does. It's Ferran Grau who leads by 5.7 seconds over Cal Young. At this moment, the other battle on circuit is Valentius v Lundberg v Joram van Hicks, who's trying to bring himself into play. There's Aaron Humphrey trying to hold on to a top 5. Artur Ihamaki is trying to put himself in the mix, and Seamus Power trying to hold on to that 4th place. They dance through 3, 4 and 5, and they find the biggest bend in Florida, which is known as the Big Bend, to try and go around and find and stave off their challenges and fend off their positions. And here comes the look to the outside, and Seamus Power, needing everything on the brakes to hold this place, just about manages it over Aaron Humphrey and holds with what he has only at the moment. Ihamaki is trying to bring himself into play and dance on through, but he currently now looks for it on the inside. Humphrey gets his pass and he gets his 4th place. Will Ihamaki find a way for a top 5? That's the next question that needs answering. We know that a top 3 in GTO will get another lap left, and Andreas Valentius still has that gap that he is trying to hold, but at least for the time being, Ferran Grau is going to be the driver who will have the biggest smile here, because it's taken a little bit of analytical thinking. It's taken a bit of genius, not once, but twice, to try and get it done on Seamus Power, to build a gap of 6 seconds, to come to the line and take his first win of the season at Sebring.
And what a time as well in the championship. This is going to help him. It will go to the final race of the season. Cal Young will get this P2. We know it's P3 for Hodoroda. We know it's 4 for Humphrey. Seamus Power has managed, unless it's a race to the line, he has dragged that car to an impressive P5 with all that damage.
Yep, he's done very well. Alain Breton might think of something. Oh, heavy defence over towards the inside. They're not going to give this one up, and he'll try the long road, hard travel, to try and get his position, and he'll dance and dive for it and look for it once again, but he will not get what he wants as he holds. But keep in mind, you've still got these 3 out there at the moment. You've got Andreas Valentius, you've got Noel Lundberg, you've got Joram van Hicks. Van Hicks is a little bit too far back at the moment, but it's going to need to have a tiny little bit of patience and maybe a send from the heavens from Noel Lundberg, who is hoping for his Christmas miracle, which will not start until, I don't know, tomorrow, when it's December 1st and Christmas officially starts. Now you start thinking about what's next here. Valentius, who seemingly can do no wrong, can seemingly walk on water with the way that he drives, as he now exits himself through the right of what is Le Mans, and now makes that long drive along the Ulmann Straight. You simply cannot put a price on Andreas Valentius in a classic car, in a classic race, in a classic series. He doesn't need a GTP to win, because he'll just go and take a GTO, and he'll just go and pilot an Audi to a stunning win.
What a win from a bad qualifying in 5th, and that's a bad qualifying from Valentius, and he sets the fastest lap with a 1:59 flat. Of course he does, but this is the man that's important. Joram van Hicks will take the lead in the championship by points. He will take that lead into the final race of the season. If you have not watched this series before, you cannot miss next week, for both championships for the first time in 3 seasons will be defended on the final race of the season.
Let's get confirmation of results then up on screen for you from the IMSA Vintage Series. Ferran Grau, his first win of the season. He'll have a huge smile on his face. He wins by 6.3 over Cal Young, with Dustin Heroda taking a big 3rd place finish here today and improving his points all against Andreas Valentius in the GTPs. Aaron Humphrey will finish 4th ahead of Seamus Power, as Arto Ihamaki could not do enough to rob a top 5 off of Seamus. It would be 6th place in the end for him, with Fabian Youngblood 7th and Javier Del Olmo in 8th. Jorge Fernandez would find himself in 9th, and the top 10, of course, being rounded out by Alain Breton overall. We flip over the page. Diego Mistretta and Emerson Godin are there. Richard Stiles and Matthew Cockerham will find themselves on 13th and 14th positions in this one. Matteo Johnson ahead of Carlos Fonseca, with Stefan Leslie in 17th position. Laus Olsen, after putting a qualifying set on for the race, starting from dead last, gets himself up to 18th ahead of Henning Schwebig and Juan Rodriguez, who would round out the top 20 in this overall. The likes of Juan Gonzalez, Victor Rodriguez, they're a lap down, so too for Brendan Lim and Vasil Faramet. Nako Simmons would be the first of the drivers out in GTPs, 4 laps down, with Lance Simon, Kelton Armstrong there. Got Lance, then followed by Armstrong, apparently 26th and 27th. Jacob Jones in 28th, with Daniel Soleo 29th, and Aitor Sintes Galindo, a huge shock to see him out so early, there in 30th. Just the couple of drivers after that then who would not be able to find their finish, and those would be Gaspar Althura and Taylor Daniels. GTO, an absolute spectacle.
Well, what a spectacle the GTPs were. Well, but the GTOs, Valentias will win after starting in 5th and getting that at the end of the race from Noel Lumberg, who finishes 2nd, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Van Hixie will get 3rd and leads the championship going into Donington. Andreas Schuster will be 4th. Now, they're a lap down because they got a lap, but he still finishes 4th. So Lumberg comes home in 5th. And then you got Skam Skogod in 6th. Ben Laughter in 7th with +4. Josh Brain finished in 8th. He just got past Martin Krajcik on the finish line, who ran out of fuel on the final lap in 9th. Mark Gamak will take 10th. Which, of course, leads us to the second page with Kurt Jensen, who finishes in 11th. Sate Amir will be 12th, and then it's Nathan Rivers in 13th, with Mika Tupala in 14th. And then it's Forban Paulik will be 15th, with Netan Cameron in 16th. 17th for Tyler Roberts. 18th for Emilio Dechari. We're getting to the retirees now, with Jack Wells finishing in 19th. Marcus Bayon will be 20th. And then the 3 retirees at the end, Doug Cloud, Tom Smith, and Arturas Kundals.
Yeah, they all found themselves with varying degrees of trouble out there. We will get a chance to talk to some of our drivers. First and foremost, why not to this guy, Seamus Power, who has walked in to have a nice little chat with us. Seamus, Christmas came early in the sense that you were able to make some progress off the start, but on 2 separate occasions, Farhan caught you out with the lap traffic. Just talk us through that perspective and the damage that you picked up on the second bit of lap traffic.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rough race, honestly. Kind of gifted a pole position with Laus, unfortunately, having an issue to start. But yeah, no, it was really fun racing with Farhan for the first, half of the race. He did catch me out a couple times, but we kind of kept going back and forth. It felt like we were really close on pace, and it was going to potentially come down to the wire. But then, yeah, just that one time around, I did choose wrong, but I had a look at the replay. It kind of felt like the Audi could have given me more space, and the damage wasn't really warranted. But yeah, just unfortunate, and the car really felt terrible after that, so I was just struggling to hang on.
So for you, very much the same as playing a game of Signalis?
Yeah, basically.
Awesome. Well, for you, it's been a season of trying to put the building blocks together, moving from strength to strength. This, I think, was one of your best chances to put victories on the board and to move up from 6th in the championship. Do you feel like that this season, especially having this elongated season, is giving you the platform that you have been quite happy to work with? And how are you looking at building that platform moving into the next few races, especially with that season finale, which will be coming up in 1 week's time when we head to Donington Park?
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm not too worried about it. I think if I was a bit closer, with last season, finishing 2nd, I might have been, maybe a bit more motivated. But, I mean, a win's a win. And because that was on the table today, I was pushing quite hard, even despite the damage after that. But no, it should be interesting. I'm sure Valenteus is kind of wrapped up everything up there. But, yeah, it'll be interesting for the first kind of maybe the last step on the podium. And we'll see how it goes next week.
Well, we certainly will. Seamus Power there joining us, getting a wonderful bit of driving done and picking himself up a top 5 finish to boot. I would say that the next driver that we go and talk to is one that had to start from the very back, stood by with Craig King, will be Laus Olsen.
Yep, I'd love to say it was the pole sitter I'm standing with, but unfortunately for Laus, you've committed the ultimate sin, and we've all done it. talk me through not the thought process of you realizing you're on the wrong set, because we've all done that, but you just got to talk us through that whole fight through the field, because you went from 55th on the field to come home in a very respectable 18th.
Yeah, that was quite a lot of work out there. Yeah, I was in the beginning. I was during the warm-up lap. I was considering what was the fastest approach to either pit and change setup immediately, or take the start and go for 2 laps and then pit and refuel. But I decided that changing immediately would probably be faster, because it takes a long time to fill the tank. But I don't know. But yeah, then I had trying to come through the GTO field, not messing too much with them, and then finally I could begin to catch up to my fellow Nissan drivers. In the end, the gaps begin to become too large, and the pace of the opponents also fast enough that it wasn't easy to pass them. So that kind of hindered my progress in the second part of the race.
Wow, I think I did clock it at one stage once you got past the GTOs the first time to get back on the front of the field. I think you're only 5 or 7 seconds behind the next car, but it was a good recovery. But technically, you overtook more GTOs than anybody else out on the field today. The traffic around here looked very hectic, because it's the first time since I've known we've had 55 cars around Sebring. What was it like? Because you're used to Sebring. You're a veteran of the series. You're used to the usual quarries of Sebring. But 55 cars around here, it kind of felt like it was a little bit chaotic out there.
Yeah, I think you have to be careful with the traffic, especially the GTO traffic, because there are a couple of places where the speed difference is quite big, and you can get caught out and cause a mess or an incident. But when you know those places and try to be sensible around those places, then normally it goes okay. Regarding traffic otherwise, I didn't really feel it too crowded. So
yeah, it's a track designed really for the numbers of cars we had out here today. So in some respects, we were kind of happy to have this 55 cars out here today. But a place I don't think we'll want to see 55 cars next week for the grand finale. It's Donington. I know you've come back to the series late, so you haven't been in championship contentions, but what are you expecting out there to next week for the finale at Donington? And don't say the right setup, because I know that's the first thing you'll say.
yeah, no, it's if I remember correctly, it's quite a technical track, and also the chicane can really. It's quite easy to get both incident points, but also slowdowns there. So that's something to be conscious about, and try not to make too many mistakes there. I guess there will be some places also, especially the fast sweepers, where traffic can be quite difficult, and probably can cause a lot of incidents between the two classes. So I don't think it will be the easiest place for traffic.
No, never usually is the easiest place out there, but we still got a classic out here today. Lars, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, the community. It's still a great place to race, and also to you guys for the great broadcast you produce every time.
Well, thank you very much, Lars. Pole sitter today, finished his in 18th position. A fantastic recovery, though, for Lars Olsen. And Jake, I believe you're still down in the paddock out here in the hot digital Miami, or so Sebring, whichever way, it's still the county. I believe you've got Atos Sinted Galindo with you.
I do. There's only one thing we've really got to ask you here today, and that's what happened, buddy.
Well, classical multiclass incident when you have someone on the outside, someone tried to overtake, maybe didn't give enough room, maybe that. It's a racing incident. I won't put it much. But yeah, I just wanted to. Well, I am actually in behalf of Ferran, who just won today, and yeah, it was just a mixed feelings today. I'm sad for the DNF, but yeah, very happy for his second broadcast win. So yeah, it's all. Today I just joined in just to say that. So yeah, congratulations Ferran, and yeah, after me, we'll moving on to next week.
Well, I thought we will wish you the best of luck then. Keep it short and sweet with you as we head on over to Donington Park there as he finds a non-finish and finds his championship not quite where he wanted to be out of that. That is going to bring things to a close here from the Sebring International Raceway, a circuit beyond circuits when it comes to this style of racing. I want to give a massive thanks to the team who's got this done today, from Craig, from Daniel, and from Dougie. Always keep an eye on the music by June Lalonde. You can catch her stuff on Bandcamp if you haven't had the chance to. There is also all of the equipment and software that has been used to get the show over to you today. Now, in terms of what's coming up with our events, you can always follow us on our social media, our website, or even go to our merch store and get an extra 0.2 of a second of pace if you want to make that happen. But all of the shows are scrolling across your screen. You'll want to mark them down in the calendar if you haven't had the chance to already. But a season of which you look at and say, where can I stamp my authority? Ferran Grau will have the biggest smile on his face as he picks up his victory. You look at the likes of Aldris Valentias, he's simply put a freak of racing. He cannot be beaten when he's in form like this, and it doesn't matter what classic car you put him in. He just seems to go to the next level. There's one race left, one chance to secure some titles together, and well, we're heading back to good old Blighty. Race clean, race hard. We'll see you at Donington Park.
Yeah.